Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Critical Zero podcast. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Sandra.
And I'm Jack.
Special guest from the band.
Lucid Smog Disorder. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for
Welcome
being here.
to my home.
It's good to finally have you on the show.
Yeah, episode 2. It's wild.
I know, right?
So, thanks for everybody who tuned into the first episode and showed support. It means a lot to us, but I'm excited for today's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot to say.
All right, so let's start with who is Jack?
Jack is a scrappy little young adult from Toronto who just wants to make enough noise to silence his own thoughts for a little while. I have been playing in bands my whole life, playing music my whole life, and that's all I want to do. So now I'm putting out a record, and I hope you will all listen to it. And that's who Jack is.
That's amazing. So, what bands have you played in? I think you've done some bass, guitar.
Yeah, I used to play bass in a band, Sterling and the Birdwatchers, which was a little 3-piece out of Collingwood. And we kind of played surf rock, dance punk. It was a lot of fun, and honestly, it taught me a lot about bass and the low end of songwriting. And I learned a lot also about putting on shows and reaching out to bookers, and a lot of life experience came from that group.
Do you still have any old demos from that band? I would love to listen
actually,
to it.
I was looking,
surf rock,
I was
man.
looking
That's
through it today. There's a lot of it's basically an unreleased EP that never really got recorded, but I've got these little demos on my voice notes app on my phone.
I'm gonna be hunting you down for that.
Yeah, honestly, there's some cool stuff. This was right before the pandemic. We were kind of really picking up steam, and we had a whole bunch of shows planned through the summer of 2020, and then all hell broke loose, and we were supposed to be recording an EP. This pandemic's honestly been a bit like a forest fire, where it's kind of wiped out a whole bunch of brush and created all this nutritious soil for new things to come through. So that's kind of when that disbanded from the pandemic. Now we've got Lucid Smog Disorder. So the forest fire effect.
Yeah.
You have a similar story.
Yeah,
actually, that's interesting enough.
The bands that I was in, and then pandemic kind of shut them all down, and then we got Black Budget, and then if it wasn't for the pandemic, I wouldn't have gone to Seneca.
Right? Yeah. No, me either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would have, but things would have totally turned out differently, right? And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of was a good lesson in, I always say, living life while you got life to live. Because you never know when you ain't going to have life to live, and you're just going to be stuck indoors all goddamn day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was fun for the first few weeks where you could just play guitar and watch Netflix.
Tiger
Box.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then it's just, all right, I want to play a show.
Yeah. A lot of writing.
Yeah.
Nothing but time. And nothing but time to think, just what am I going to do next? When I have that opportunity, how am I going to capitalize on it? And here we are, making a podcast.
Dude, we wouldn't have all met if it weren't for the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The fucking pandemic.
I know, which kind of leads to one of our points of how we all met, right?
Yeah. It's a crazy story about we all met in school.
Yeah, independent music production, Switzer.
Shout out to everybody from the program. So in that case, let's get into the album.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
So
let's dig in.
Let's just dive right in.
Let's get to the meat.
It's 12 songs long. It's kind of writing began in 2015, I guess the oldest song would date back to. And I've just been writing songs basically my whole life. And then when I lived in Kingston and I was at school, I just started writing and kind of came up with basically this catalog of tracks that over time got written and rewritten and called down to about 12 that are on the record. It's really interesting for me now to come back and look at it because it's almost like there's chapters of my life represented that I can remember, where I was when I wrote Psychedelicacy, for example, and kind of where I was when I wrote the earlier songs or later songs weird, talking about oldness of
Yeah.
songs. The old songs are the new ones, but the new ones are the young ones.
That's true. That happens though. Right?
Yeah. So I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. It's just a straight up rock and roll record. You'll be moving the whole way through. It's cool. It's kind of a history of rock and roll through my own childhood, I suppose.
And so all the songs you wrote in that album, are they like pre-COVID, would you say? Because you said you also did a little bit of songwriting throughout the pandemic. So are these songs like kind of pre?
Yeah, these songs are kind of before the pandemic. I mean, I try to write a song every day if I can. And, you know, if you write a song every day, 90% of them aren't good, but there's always going to be one that is. And you pick parts, and it's not really about building something from scratch, but sometimes taking things from other places to make a complete piece of work. But this thing, it's kind of like my favorite songs from the last 5 years of my life. And through rewriting, you kind of figure out where they all fit within each other, and how there's rise and fall and flow. And I mean, if you asked me, maybe a few more beers in, I could tell you the whole story arc of the whole thing, because there really is a tale for me. But I kind of want to keep that to myself for a little bit and let people kind of figure out what it means to them first. Because at the end of the day, you know, you can write songs for yourself, but it's not about me. It's about the person listening and how you reflect on your own situation. That's kind of the power of music, right? It's to take you to somewhere personal through someone else's experience. But yeah, I'm really stoked. So there's mostly songs from before the pandemic, and maybe one track that was started after the pandemic. I think a big part of songwriting is rewriting. So a lot of these songs have just been really focused on and workshopped over a long time. Last summer I got, and like almost different chapters too. Like if I have 12 songs, like different things. So when I played in Sterling and the Birdwatchers and I was playing bass, I would go back and I looked at all, it was more like 22 songs at that point, but I'd look at all of them and I was like, how can I make this bass part the most effective it could possibly be? Scratch it all, bring it back up. And so playing bass in a band kind of taught me, like you can sit at home and write all these cool parts, but then when you're live or playing with drums, guitar, and vocals, you're actually maybe taking away from the song, you know? So it's all about finding your place. And I didn't really have that with bass before Sterling and the Birdwatchers, so it's kind of different experiences in your life can affect your writing in very different ways. So last summer I got involved and interested in film score. Ooh. So I was like really curious with leitmotifs and how like a melodic idea can represent a theme or an emotion or something like that. Like if you look at John Williams scores, some amateur composers will make a leitmotif for a character, and that's like cool, it works, it's kind of the easy way out. But like one thing John Williams would do is he would make a melodic piece, like just a phrase for a specific theme. So whenever the Force would be involved in like Star Wars, for example, a few notes would be played. Yeah, it gives a listener like this subconscious thing. So I went back when I was learning about this and looked through every song, and I kind of found 3 hooks in the record and tried to introduce those in like bass lines or in guitar leads or backing vocals, for example, just to kind of put these different themes throughout the whole record to make it a full, complete kind of story. So
that's great.
It's just time, right? Spending time with it and getting to know it is the best way to get it to be the best it is.
I think that's like one of the most interesting things, just to figure out how people make their albums, because there's so many different ways to do it. Is there one song that you rewrote over and over, like the most? Do you ever have one specific song that was like the biggest challenge that you had to actually have it perfect?
To be honest, like 11 of them were really simple and almost like were there. The essence of the song, right? The acoustic guitar test.
Yeah.
Like sitting around the campfire, is this a good song? Because melody is king, right? If it doesn't matter what genre of music you're playing, if you can pull out an acoustic guitar and be like, listen to this song, and people are like, that's a good song, that's a good song. It doesn't matter the production, the arrangement, the anything. melody is king.
It's true.
But to be honest, the first song on the record is the newest one written, and that's the one written during the pandemic, obviously. And that one, that was the first one I kind of treated as like a project, like an ongoing thing where I thought about it, and it really evolved over time. But it was like, I have this idea, how am I going to execute it? Whereas a lot of the other ones were, oh, look at this hook. Oh, that flows into this pre-chorus. Oh, and there's the chorus. It kind of like, some songs write themselves, right? And I feel like that was the case for a lot of these tracks, and the first one was actually a work in progress. So that's the answer. Number one.
Thank you.
No, man, that's awesome. I heard a snippet of that one. Is that the one I heard before you got here? It's before the Bluetooth speaker died. But
Thanks to the TTC.
I know.
Yeah. Man on the track.
Shout out to the man on the track.
Yeah.
But no, man, that's awesome, and it's interesting to hear about the writing process. Like you were saying, it's just so different, and it's nice to get into the head of people when they're writing. So it's very, very interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate the extra information.
Yeah. The pain that goes into creating some songs is like, it's you have to be in love with this.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing about the pandemic too, because like nothing like isolation creates creativity, you know? Like what the fuck else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
But I think that when the pandemic hit, I wasn't at a point in my life to be like, this isn't worth following, and move on and write new things. So I think that in order to move on from this, I needed to put it out. And I've tried in different ways, but like I didn't want to be a solo artist, you know. I wanted to have a band. I wanted to have my gang, you know. So it's been kind of that step of the process had to fall in place before I could just put out music. And it's so easy to make and put out music these days. So I wanted to be prepared on the other side of things, you know.
Exactly. And so let's go into a little bit of the recording process.
Yeah.
So when did that start, and how was that?
The official recording process started in late May. I mean, I'd been demoing these songs and re-demoing. It's like part of the writing process, right? Like it's not just pen and paper anymore. You make demos, listen to them when you walk in the dog or whatever. I mean, we kind of had the luxury of having these songs fully fleshed out with such thought that it was really just go in and play them. Whereas if there were more of ideas and less hashed out plans, then it could have taken a lot more time. But, you know, that's also where creativity is born too, right? And trying to like, okay, where do we go from this problem? But that wasn't really the case with this one. So we started in, like I said, late May, and we did it in Darren's basement. Darren is the guitar player in Lucid Smog Disorder. And we were really ambitious when we started. We like triple amped our guitars, so we would have three guitar tracks going at once. And I was running the sessions. So we had the drums done by our friend Carson from, what is his new band's name? He just told me, and I forget it. Sweet Things.
Yes.
I'm out of the loop.
It's an awesome name, and it's just the specificness of it is escaping me right now. Carson Arrigo from Wasaga Beach, phenomenal drummer, phenomenal musician, recorded the drums on his own. So I'd send him the demos that were fledged out, and he would just be like, all right, spend a day hashing out his part, bounce it back over. I'd put it into our session. And we started really ambitious with guitars. And then by the time we got to the fourth song, we're like, dude, we really need 3 tones from every single take.
Yes,
like,
you do.
Yes.
A mixing nightmare. So like as the process went on, it got a lot more simple. Just like, fuck it, plug in. We're going to put one mic up there. What we get is what we get. And that was kind of the energy we wanted to capture. Even though we didn't do it live and we didn't really do it in the same room for the most part. We did want to capture kind of the energy of a live band, because that's what we are. We're a live band at the end of the day. And it's not flawless. It's got timing issues. It's got tuning issues, but it's rock and roll, man. I don't think you want it flawless. And it's flawless to me because that's our playing.
There's beauty in imperfection.
There you go.
Yeah,
there it is.
There is.
Yeah.
There's too much perfect in the world right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean-
too easy to make it
I
perfect,
know,
right? Like,
right?
oh, look at this filter. Let me just beat detective this drums and make it
I
boom,
know.
boom, boom.
And it's
Perfect. Like, no, man. Sorry, second guitar's a little out of tune.
There's some videos, like when you're looking at music production, there's some videos that show you how to make it seem even more imperfect
Oh, slide
instead
that
of
a
just,
little bit.
Instead of just
Doing it.
yeah,
I
just
know,
do
right?
it. Yeah, it's
It's like, well, you start this MIDI part just a little bit more
yeah.
later.
It's like when we were also recording like Stuck in the Desert, Jack. I told him, I was like, "Do you want to play to a click?" He's like, "Absolutely not." And if you look at the session file, it's like
It's closed.
it's close, but you can't really tell unless you pay attention. But it's like it gives it a natural flow, and like I think that's what I heard too in Beverly. It just sounds very. It flows really
Out now.
Yeah,
That's what
out
Congo's
now.
about. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, like something about it just seems human. It doesn't seem robotic, especially like making demos. Apple products have such a good software element for songwriters where you can put a drum track in and play to it. And it's a lot easier than playing to a click, I'll tell you. But when you hear your demos back and it's lifeless, it really is. Like sometimes you hear misses and you hear rim shots that aren't supposed to be there, stick clicks, and
Yeah, I know, right?
there's something about mistakes, especially in punk rock and rock and roll, that just makes it so authentic. And that's really what we wanted to do, is make something authentic and not trying to lose what we stood for in the process. Because it's very easy when you're running every single step of the project by yourself. It's really easy to lose perspective and lose yourself and kind of lose sight of the big picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you guys do any like weird recording tricks? Like, did you use anything that isn't for recording?
Spill it.
We did some interesting things. Darren and I had this idea. Like, it was basically just the two of us getting wasted and smoking cigarettes all summer long, and we came up with a lot of interesting ideas. One thing, at the end of Good Morning USA, it kind of breaks down into this slower part, and it's kind of not percussive, but like there's a build up to it. So when it cleans up right at the start of it, we had this idea to put this. Oh, I thought I had the amp here. I've got this really tiny little amp, and it was actually the first amp I ever got. It's like 4-inch driver in it, and maybe 5 watts, and we put it in his dryer with a close mic on it, and we played it through a single coil Telecaster, and it's really like ching, ching, ching. So it's like almost like not a guitar but a percussive instrument.
Wow.
Nice. You're hearing it here first,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, the secrets. And there's another track where I recorded the drums on one song on Witching Hour, so please mind my timing issues. But in order to kind of get two birds stoned, we put Darren in the bathroom and me in the live room, recording drums to kind of isolate things, and we mic'd up the bathroom basically. So there's like a toilet recording like of the water in the bowl.
Lots of reverb.
Yeah, basically just
Yeah.
natural, like a reverb room.
Beautiful.
That's really cool.
Yeah, just random things, and I wanted to do drums because like I just wanted in on all the action. Yeah, and I stole a few tricks from Jack Lang from Black Budget
Our Jack.
on that
Shout out to
track.
Jack.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jack and Jack. We have two.
Jack.
We got two Jack. Oh man.
It's confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
Two Jacks. Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear. I like that amp in the dryer.
Yeah,
I like
it was
that.
cool. It really
I might
had
have to try
this metallic kind of clang
Yeah.
to it. It was almost like a hammer on an anvil in some weird way.
I'm looking forward to the album now. That like really like stoked
Yeah,
for
man,
this.
got
Yeah,
some
because we didn't get to
insider
hear it
things.
yet, so we're also like.
I know.
Yeah, it'll be out soon.
So let's dive into the show you guys are putting for the album.
Yes. Yeah. So
Got it right there. Let me pull this up.
oh yeah, look at these.
Look at that. We have imagery, guys. We're upgrading our podcast.
Yeah.
The week after we drop our record, Psychedelicacy, we are going to be playing
Nice.
Bovine Sex Club in downtown Toronto with our friends Life Postmortem and Shot Down Twice. And Save Toronto Music Venues is helping us put it on. Big shout out
Shout
to
out
Save
to
Toronto
them.
Music
Yeah,
Venues
we love
for,
you.
saving Toronto Music Venues.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're helping us put it on. A portion of the proceeds are going to go to the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is a cause pretty near and dear to our hearts, and pretty representative of the record too. I mean, we all go through our things, and I definitely was when I was writing a lot of these songs, and I think it is exemplified in some of the lyrics. Exemplified. It's there. It's present.
It's amped.
Yes, somebody
so
will say it in the comments.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
we want to do our part and, help out where we can. So a portion of the proceeds, Canadian Mental Health Association.
I remember you wrote about The Walls Talk to Me, that specifically was in reference to mental health and self-medication, which I thought was an important
Walls
topic.
Talk to Me was our first single, and the chorus is The Walls Talk to Me, turning tricks for the same old fix again, and that kind of line B in that chorus is kind of questioning whether your self-medication habits are treating your mental health disorders or are they the cause of your mental health, which I think, is, from when I look back to where I was when I started writing songs like Psychedelicacy or Skeleton Fancy Shoes to then come around to the questioning side of things, I think that almost gives the album this layer of depth and maturity that it wouldn't have had if I had put things out as quickly as maybe I wanted to when I first started writing. So it's kind of interesting to see things come full circle and be complete, It's a good first learning experience and kind of understand the ideas of putting together a record. And I've always wanted to put together an album, not really singles or EPs are cool, but there's really something magical about an artist being like, these are 45 minutes of music. This is 45 minutes of music. Here is my story, and there's thought to it. There's art to it. When you're putting out a single, who gives a shit what the cover is? Like who EP right when it's. I'm not trying to slag on things, but at the same time, I know how much work singles are, but like when we went into recording this, it was like, oh, I know these songs. I've demoed them almost every day leading up to the recording process, so I knew what I was getting into going into it, but to do it to the quality that I wanted to put it at, I was not prepared, and it was quite overwhelming, to be honest. Stronger person for it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you did the mixing as well, right?
Yeah, I ran the whole the whole show. No, that's not really true, but yeah, there's a lot of work after you get it down on tape. And honestly, like the accessibility we have to it almost makes it harder. Like if we were just running onto tape with 4 knobs and 3 plugins, it would have been done in a week, right? Because all you've got is you set it and you let it be. When you've got basically the whole digital world at your fingertips, you could spend years running through presets and plugins and what if I just turn this compressor up a little bit? What if I just turn it down a little bit? There's something quite freeing about just setting things and doing it on the spot. So I think moving forward, kind of that's the direction we want to go in. But yeah, it was very overwhelming and exhausting putting this whole thing together.
What was the hardest track, you think? What was the most tracks you had in a track?
Ooh, yeah, I know, right? Sometimes that
I need to know this. That's a personal question.
The most tracks in a session would have been Good Morning USA, the first song. That's pretty easy to answer that part of the question. The hardest, there was just so many, especially when you hear the third part of the song. That song kind of has 3 parts. So when you hear the last part, there was probably like 45 vocal parts stacked on top of each other.
Nice.
Damn.
But the mixing process of that was tedious, but it wasn't that difficult. The hardest song to mix, I don't know. They each have their own challenges, you know, like that one was a massive project. And then, you know, they all have their own attentions and needs that you need to focus on. And
yeah, it's true. It has its own personality.
Yeah.
Honestly, every song you have has its own mixing personality and profile.
Yeah. And then you're also trying to keep it consistent because you want it to be this overarching full-bodied thing. So yeah, how do you keep it individual but consistent? And it's fucking family, man. Like it's
Is there a specific plugin that you really enjoy that you don't mind sharing, like with mixing?
No, it was all stock. It was all out of necessity rather than creativity. We tried to do everything as if it was on tape.
Yeah.
So like capture it and be okay with the take, and then when you go and listen to it all, maybe the guitars are clashing with the bass, and maybe the drums are clashing. So there you can do a little bit of corrective stuff. Yeah. But we really tried to commit to things as we were recording them. So yeah, all stock Pro Tools stock
that's still
plugins.
Good though, you know, like.
Oh yeah, in a world where
however, you got to talk to the mastering engineer Kanwar, because
we love you, Kanwar.
He could tell you way more about the tricks.
He mastered my song too, dude.
Yeah,
so,
he told me
he's awesome.
I was trying to get him to show me it, but he wouldn't do it.
Oh.
November 26th.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, pretty soon after we're dropping, so.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like kind of do that.
You overshadowed us big time.
No, but you know, it's like not that it makes a difference, but
everybody's gonna listen to our track. No. Everybody go listen to Rebel Run and not.
The reason I picked that date was because it was the anniversary of my mom's passing, so I thought that was the best way to honor her.
It is really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, because we've gone on for half an hour.
Yeah, which we were worried that, you know, because this is our first time having a conversation.
I guess.
It's not really an interview.
Forever. You want to talk about
a discussion.
My music? Let's talk.
Now I can see how Joe Rogan goes on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
With some
that
of
guy's
his
hard railing DMT.
I want to ask, we wanted to ask this about the guitar. So can we see that in the frame? Oh. I want to talk. This is,
Yes, we wanted to know the whole story.
Yeah, I want a story of this.
Tell us the story.
When I was a kid, my parents bought this for me. And when I was about 10, this is my first electric guitar, which is pretty funny. And when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like people putting their name on shit, like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Billy Joe, and like see all these other guys, like not even. Whoa, Emily.
We have a new guest.
My wife just stormed through the house. She was a palindrome for Halloween.
Yeah, the grade 2s didn't get it.
I got this guitar when I was 10, and so like people like, I don't know, random players from like bars, and you see these old pictures of people with their guitars, and it'd be like Johnny or Jeff, I don't know, whatever their name was. People like love to brand their shit, and I liked Stevie Ray Vaughan when I was a kid, and I loved Green Day, and I don't know, I just threw up my initials on there and started plastering it with stickers. And
what's the first sticker that you put on there? Is it visible at this point, or is it hidden below?
No, it's way under there. There's like, I can see this skeleton.
No, not that joke.
You got a Black Budget sticker right there.
Oh man, appreciate it.
No, there's like, you could peel off, like, same thing as the record. If you started peeling off stickers, you'd be peeling back into the chapters of my life.
I know.
Some of my friends are up on here. Wednesday Benders.
Yeah,
awesome rock and roll band. This sticker's wicked. It's Wednesday Adams
so
drinking. Oh, you can't really see.
That is cool.
The Slime. Shout out to the Slime. Scooped Up from Connecticut. Awesome skate punk band. Black Budget. I got Black Budget up there. There's other bands that have been covered up, but
I'll see if I can get more
stickers. The way it goes,
for
you gotta get it while it's good, and you'll get your sticker on there for a while. I don't know. People are so sensitive about their stuff and their gear, and I don't know. It's just stuff, so make it my own.
Yeah, it adds to the story too, right? It's like the dings and everything just kind of adds. You remember when you got that ding?
Yeah. There's dents all over it, and there's like scratch marks, and A few years ago, maybe I cut out the pickup and put it in a humbucker to give it a little more oomph.
Yeah, I was wondering if you modded it.
Yeah, I did that
Of course,
myself.
see that there.
Actually, this kind of been added to the story of this recently. I dropped it a few months ago, and it landed on the neck, and I really fucked up the neck. So I just needed to do a simple little neck adjustment. But my truss rod bolt is stripped. So it sat collecting dust for a few weeks until I found an Allen key, and I just jacked these saddles up. And there's like random shit. I run into this problem a lot where I get like dead skin stuck in the topmost saddle, so I can't adjust it. I don't know what to do about it. What do you want from me? There's also dead skin on my fingerboard.
Oh my god!
But I will throw hard picks under there to boost it up a little bit. So now it's playable. It vibrates, and I can play it. So coming to a stage near you. I call it Joe. I named it after Joe Strummer of the Clash.
Oh, nice.
And Joey Ramone. And Billy Joe. A lot of Joes in the rock and roll
Yeah, it's a
world.
lot of Joe.
There is.
That's Joe. I've got Les
Joe,
Paul
the guy that collects
Custom that I call
guitars?
Patty after Patty Smith.
So you can see that in action November 18th at the
Once I break it
at the Bovine.
before them.
But this is kind of like a little tradition that we have at the end of the podcast. We ask what shows we're looking forward to seeing, because there's so many cool shows happening. And
We're gonna ask you, I guess. 'Cause
Yeah.
we already gave
Yeah,
ours
When
last
is
week.
this coming out?
this is gonna come out Monday.
Okay. Can't plug tomorrow. I am looking forward to Creep Show with the Filthy Radicals at Hard Luck. Cannot remember the date. I think it's in early December. That's in Toronto. Obviously, come check this out.
Yes.
And
Put a link to it.
just go to your local bar. Ask them when they're having live music, because this industry needs our support, and artists can only do so much. It comes down to patrons. Going out and going to bars, watching live music, buy your favorite artist merch, buy your local favorite artist merch, favorite local artist merch. Because like Metallica, do they really need your $40?
I know. Is it 40? It's probably more
probably
than that.
more.
I know, right?
You see that picture of James Hetfield shopping at like Armani?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And he has like shorts.
Yeah, shorts.
I know.
Just loving life.
He's
You know what
living.
though? That dude, I watched him on a podcast, and he was talking about how he moved out of California to like a ranch in Colorado, and he lives like off the land. He hunts his own food. And, which is like, obviously would love to get there one day, but are you where the music's at, or are you where you can live sustainably? And you know what? You can live really sustainably in Toronto if you put in the effort. I can walk to the grocery store. I don't have a car.
Yeah, car is a nightmare here.
And if you just shop responsibly, and you can have a pretty small footprint here. Obviously, living off the land is a totally different story. But so that's the show I would like to see, is James Hetfield killing a goat.
That's the show you're looking forward to. James Hetfield's just shooting a goat.
Creep Show with the Filthy Radicals. There's another band on that bill, which is super sick, and they're just escaping me right now. But yeah, seriously, if you live in Toronto, check out the Hard Luck, check out Sneaky D's, check out the Horseshoe, check out Live in Color. Just check out your local bar, because most people will have live music, and every artist needs your support. Every business, every local business, needs your support. Stop fucking shopping on Amazon.
And check out Save Toronto Music Venues.
Yeah,
they're putting on a bunch of shows.
Yeah,
quality artists. The show we went to last night, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
And all female
I missed
singers
it.
that
That
were
was wicked.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kings and Queens.
Well,
If
oh
they're
my
ever
God.
doing anything, check
Queen-
them out.
yeah, Queens
and
Kings.
Kings. Kings and Queens is
I'll fight you. And so
that's
the
Kevin
girls'
James. Kevin James' stupid fucking 90s
Unbelievable
sitcom.
act, though.
They were really good.
They
Queens and
blew my
Kings,
mind.
like-
And
even,
Neon Bloom is really
Neon
wicked
Bloom.
too. They,
she hurt her leg.
She was playing with a
injured
Whoa.
leg. She owned that stage.
Yeah, that's the second time I've heard of that.
She
like in
owned
the past
it.
few weeks. One in the Chamber also, lead singer.
Damn.
was
I
on
wonder
a
if there's
crutch.
someone going around breaking
Yeah.
that.
Breaking lead singer's legs. If you're a lead singer, watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
Neon Bloom's got a cool song, Take Us Back, I think it's called. And if you like that, you'll maybe like the song Summer Smiles on our record. So, yeah, shout out to Neon Bloom. My favorite band right now is Rat Poison. Brat Poison. That's the gin talking. Brat with a B. Brat Poison. They're super cool, from Hamilton, I think. And they're probably going to do big things. So look out for Brat Poison. Look out for Rat Poison, because that shit can fuck you up too.
No, right?
Watch out for rats in Toronto.
Yeah.
In the subway.
Yeah. Man on the track.
Man on the track.
Yeah, oh my God.
All right, so album comes out. Then you got the party.
November 12th, record comes out on all the streaming services. And, November 18th, live at the Bovine Sex Club.
Be there. Or
We're
be
going to play the
square.
whole thing front to back, so...
We'll put links in the description.
Yeah,
for
of
Yeah,
everybody.
be prepared for a marathon of music. And Life Postmortem and Shot Down Twice really bring it, too, so...
Dude, before we end this, we need to like show your new merch, because this is
Yeah, look at that.
Can I swear? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
our
you can
podcast.
swear.
Fuck it. This is fucking cool.
New Black Budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
UFO in there.
I love it, man. Like, that's sick. And hopefully you'll be handing some out to people.
Yeah. We're going to figure out, because we got a few shipments.
Yeah,
Those.
good.
That's my plug. What's your plug?
I guess it's just my release coming out. That's it for now, and working hard on this.
Black Budget at Sneaky D's, November 6th, yeah?
Of course, that's
yeah,
a good
that's
plug.
November 6th.
And they just released a bunch of tickets
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
General
welcome
Admission.
back
I
to
know.
reality, baby.
Yeah. Mosh. Come mosh.
Yeah, Mosh in your mask.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your headline. Mosh in your mask.
So November
Sounds
26th.
disgusting.
Monday. Mosh in your mask.
So we got November is going to be a great month. November. The album.
Yeah, 12th, November 6th at Sneaky D's, Black Budget. November 12th on your iPhone, Lucid Smog Disorder drops their debut album, Psychedelicacy. And then November 18th, the next Thursday, so 6 days later, we'll see you for a night of rock and roll. We're going to be doing some giveaways and some cool stuff too in the next few days, because it's coming down. We don't really have a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. Might be a guitar up for grabs. Might be some T-shirts.
Can I apply for that?
He wants
Yeah,
a guitar.
yeah. There's already applications, so
I know,
better
right?
get in if you
You're
want to.
competing with Pedro. It's serious.
There might be
business.
some free drinks up for grabs too if you keep an eye out for these flyers around downtown Toronto. So
I like the mystery.
yeah, a little bit of mystique.
Yes.
So November 26th, Run Rebel Run debut
Yep.
track, and then, it's gonna be a crazy month, amazing month.
Anything? Yeah, we'll just stick to November.
Yeah.
Counteract
One month at a
the
time.
sleet and the freezing rain of that November brings with some
Yeah.
rock and roll. Shh.
I'm gonna pretend it's not happening. The weather. The weather.
October was pretty nice. Hopefully November will be. I mean, the last few weeks kind of blew, but
You heard it here. The weather sucks.
The weather report. That's when we know we're at the end of
Yeah.
this podcast, when the weather gets brought up.
man, the weather controls all, man. We're all at mercy to the weather.
We appreciate everybody watching this and showing
Yeah,
the
thank
support.
you.
Support the band, support the scene.
Yeah. He said
Um,
everything.
Thank you for tuning in. I am Pedro.
Zero, motherfuckers.
And I'm Sandra, or Run Rebel Run.
And my name is Jack Doris.
Thank you.
Dun, 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 dun.